I want to talk for a few minutes about some mistakes that I see authors making with their Amazon ads so you can know the kind of mistakes that you want to be avoiding when you're running your ads. So let's dive in. I think the biggest mistake that I see is analyzing individual keywords when you don't have enough data. So what this would look like is going into an ad that's maybe gotten you 50 clicks. And if a keyword's gotten you 3 clicks but no sales, you turn it off and you say, oh, this is a terrible keyword. So statistically speaking, in order to know if one keyword works better than another keyword, you really need like upwards of 100 clicks, and it can take a long time to get that much. So I do not recommend going in like on a daily or even weekly basis and looking at your individual keywords and making adjustments based on what's going on. So even if you have one keyword that's getting you 120% ACOS and a keyword that's getting you 40% ACOS, in 3 weeks, those numbers might be totally flip-flopped. And so it's way more important to be paying attention to the bottom line. Just, are you making more money than you're putting in? It makes it easier for the analysis side of it too, because it's a lot of work if you're going to go and analyze every single individual keyword. It's important to do sometimes if you have a campaign that seems like it's performing very poorly, by which I mean that it's spending a lot of money and you do not see a lot of sales coming in. It can be important to go into your targeting and see what jumps out at you, but that should not be like the default that you're doing on a weekly basis to every single one of your ads. This is kind of a troubleshooting if you've got a particular ad that isn't working well. Similarly, you don't want to turn ads off just because they have a bad week or a bad 10-day period. It's way more important to look at your ad performance over a month, 2 months, right? So yes, sometimes you're going to see an ad. If you're to where it shows that you've spent $120 in one ad campaign and haven't made a single sale, yeah, for sure it makes sense to go in there and either turn that whole ad off or turn off a bunch of the keywords that are not performing well. But what I'm talking about is, let's say you have an ad campaign that on week one, maybe it spends $5 and you get $10 back. So you're all excited. And then in week two, it spends $5 and you only get $2 back. And so you're like, rats, this ad stinks. I'm going to turn it off. Don't do that. Just look at the ad performance overall. Many people have talked about a lag in reporting. So that's the other thing. Don't turn an ad off like on day 2 just because your dashboard's not showing sales. If it looks like you're spending a ton of money and have 0 sales, what's important to do is to actually go into your KDP sales dashboard and see if you see an increase in sales there. Because every once in a while, people talk about making sales from Amazon ads that just go unreported. So you also want to compare what the Amazon ads dashboard is telling you with your KDP data. Bottom line, and this is a way to keep it really simple, especially if you don't like doing the math, the bottom line is if you are spending less money on a series than you are earning back from that series, then you're doing fine. You know, there are still ways to improve, but you don't need to freak out and say, oh, this is terrible. My ads don't work. Nothing works. I'm never going to be a full-time author, or, you know, whatever it is that you might tell yourself. So not giving your ads enough time to run and collect enough data. That's another mistake that a lot of people make. On the opposite extreme, so we talked about, you know, kind of micromanaging your ads too much, like all the way down to the keyword level. But on the other extreme, a mistake that some people make is really not looking into their numbers well at all. So Amazon ads are not quite set it and forget it. Yes, hopefully what you're going to find are some ads that you can just keep running indefinitely that are going to do really well for you. But you still should be going in there at the very least like twice a month, just making sure your numbers are still looking fine, making sure that nothing major crazy has changed or anything like that. You also want to account for your series read through, your KU data, and all of those things, as well as your paperbacks, your audiobooks. Like a lot of times people will buy an ebook and then they'll also go ahead and buy the audiobook so that they can have both. The audiobook sale is not going to show up as a sale in your Amazon ads dashboard. So that's why you need to look at your series revenue as a whole. Something to keep in mind is that Amazon ads work on their own time frame. So I wouldn't rely on Amazon ads if you have like a time sensitive book launch or maybe a 99-cent sale or something like that. I wouldn't rely on Amazon ads because you never know when they're going to turn on. You never know how quickly they're going to turn on. So that's another mistake, is if you rely on Amazon ads as your only source of advertising, it's pretty unpredictable, which makes it hard. What I love to do is to set up Amazon ads and then run a few Facebook ads, because Amazon ads are more likely to turn on if you're already getting sales for that book anyway. That makes Amazon feel like it's a better book to try to market anyway. Like if people are buying this book without Amazon ads, even more people are going to buy the book with Amazon ads. So if you do have a set of ads that you've created and they just never seem to turn on, you can try advertising that book in some of the other ad platforms, and sometimes that gives the ad enough momentum that it will turn on. All right, so that covers some of the common mistakes people make with Amazon ads.